Axie and 32E.
We got loads of stuff coming up for you in this very compact show, short, sharp, and punchy, because we know that's what you've asked for. So we'll do our best. Now, speaking of short, sharp, and punchy, I have been inundated with friends, family, and randoms saying, "Hey, got any tips for me?" I've been giving a lot of tips to people lately, telling them that some of these shit coins they're in were going to go and get wrecked, and that has happened. So what I'm going to do today is give you my top 5 coins and some notable mentions. These two will probably try and tear that down or add to that conversation. But first, Mr. Gonzo, could you bring up our project board? Previously looked at projects, see how they've done. See if there's any green in there at all. Stefano, do you want to talk us through them?
Sure, they're all dying. That's it. The only honorable mention, let's have a look. X is the only one probably that is still having like some life left in this week. Look at that. Mega Bonk 67% down. Block Duelers 42% down. Like, it's crazy, guys. Sell everything that you have. But if we're looking at like the important things, we got number 1, X. X is probably like a lot of you knows, and we also know that thanks to the community of the Xers that is obviously supporting the channels. Axie is basically doing a side chain or forking Ethereum, going on their own path, and so there is a newer drop that is going to obviously come in place because, you know, side chain, which means that everything is going to be mirror, which means that you're going to end up like double up the coins, which is always like a pleasure surprise on that side. And the only other honorable mention is Modify, which it's up this week for I have no idea why, but it's in the green, so we're happy with that as well.
Pampin, what they did is they switched the staking contracts. So their first round of staking expired on Phantom and BSC. And now there's a new staking contract, so I guess there was a huge dump. There was a big dump just before it pumped, obviously. Like, you know, everybody finished their stakes, sold their profits, and then they announced the new one, and then everybody bought it up.
Get them back in line. Now, I know you love TA, Stefano, so I thought I'd just briefly show the Bitcoin chart.
Jesus.
What is that? Is that the BAM indicator?
That's the BAM indicator from Didi. He's going to jump back on for a chat with us very soon. But look, just very quickly, people, what I wanted to point out is for the first time in this bull run, we didn't actually close below the 21-week moving average. It was literally right bang on it. It's currently sitting below it on a weekly candle. This is the weekly chart you're looking at here. So if you're into technical analysis, it's actually quite an important week coming up. We have not closed below the 21-week moving average for a very long time. Looking back at this here, it has been the signal for a bear market in the past. So yeah, that's my bit of TA today. We do have tomorrow, Leanne, Thursday. So if you're into TA, show up to that, people. But comments on Bitcoin price, Mr. Gonzo?
You closed that chart, but if you look at it, the last time that happened was the COVID pandemic overreaction, blood in the streets day. That week was the last time it dumped that far. So all we need now is a bit of coordinated government FUD. You know, like, hey, come on, let's announce that the vaccine is mutated again, and they're going to shut everything down even tighter. Everybody's going to freak out, and, you know, let's manipulate the markets a bit more here. Let's really get it bleeding. Get your fiat ready, guys.
Yeah. Well,
don't be surprised. Everything's lining up.
Yeah, I mean, look, the macro for Bitcoin is still off the charts for me. I mean, we're in a situation where there's money printing, something we've looked at a million times is out of control. One thing I've really found quite interesting, actually, is this article in the Financial Times looking at the billionaire boom, how the rich are shaking up the COVID cash. So I think last week Mr. Gonzo shared the chart of the money printing that's going on. We've had 9 trillion from central bank injected into the economies worldwide. What really shocked me in this article is the total wealth of billionaires during that same period rose by 5 trillion to 13 trillion. So we can see what's going on here, people.
Shocking.
The rich are getting richer. We've got a massive disconnect in the jobs market with our economy now, and that will be a factor that I'm going to talk about when I go through my top 5 coins in just a moment. Now, but before we do that, the other reason for bringing up the billionaire article, obviously, it has just been the big news for the last 3 days. Elon Musk, crypto tribalism. I got to admit, some of my behavior maybe could have been better here with trolling and slinging shit at communities, having been a Bitcoin maximalist before, watching the the drama go on between the maximalists and Elon has, I've got mixed feelings on it. So I just want to get your thoughts on the shit-slinging, on crypto tribalism, on who's right, who's wrong here. Mr. Gonzo, thoughts?
Well, it's complicated, totally. He's manipulating the market fully, you know, like sold the top, FUD the bottom. It's obvious what's happening, isn't it? And then when the FUD is so completely misguided and like unfounded, and to talk outside of both sides of your mouth, like, oh, Bitcoin is bad, but my electric cars that run on coal power plants, that's fine. Like, I mean, it's totally, there's some kind of, you know, I want to say counter intel pro double agent kind of thing happening here. You know, like now he's starting to shill his own like green coin. That's coming. I have friends that don't know fucking shit all about cryptocurrency. Nothing. They tell me it's a scam, it's a scam. They're telling me that I should sell all my crypto and I should buy Elon's green BTC because he's the leader. Everybody's going to follow him. I'm like, holy fuck. And it just like laser focused the end game for me. Like, that's it, you know, like he's got so many people. He's like the Pied Piper, just leading people around, you know, like Doge, BTC. Oh, not BTC, Doge again. Oh, back to BTC. Oh, here's my Elon coin. It comes implanted with your fucking chip in the back of your head to control your phone, and we have control over everything. Jesus fucking Christ.
So there is that. I mean, I think the way he's played it is super duper questionable. It's either manipulative or naive, ignorant, whatever way you want to look at it. What about the reaction from specifically the Bitcoin community, which has been very, very aggressive with the maximalist? I've slung a bit of shit around as well. Do you have any issues with that? Do you think that's healthy?
It's
bad for the space, or we're potentially scaring people away?
Nah, who cares? It's a standard bullshit. If you have, you know, like Bitcoiners are always going to be like that with anybody. They're your best buddy and they're going to give you laser eyes and like put you on a podcast if you say good shit. But the second you turn around and say something critical of Bitcoin, then you're the shithead. So
yeah, well, I mean, our hard forking account on the Bitcoin Reddit was got a lifetime ban 2 years ago, which after writing 400 articles on Bitcoin, putting a ton of my own time and money into the space, promoting and educating people from a decentralized protocol, people that running the Reddit account gave me a lifetime ban. So yeah, it is an extreme community. All of the communities are extreme. I saw you got voted Bitcoin's 28th biggest douchebag by somebody in the Bitcoin SV community this week as well, Mr. Gonzo.
Fuck, I wanted number one.
Stefano, thoughts on tribalism? Has the reaction from the crypto community been unhealthy to Musk? Do you think it potentially scares people like him away, or other companies away, or do you think it's warranted?
No, I think that, like, to be honest, I'm not taking part of any of that, and I'm having a lot of people like wanting me, texting me in private, asking for opinions, like seeing which side I'm taking of the stories and all of that stuff. But I don't care. Like, frankly, I never cared, and I'm not taking like my advice from Elon Musk, neither from like some of the Bitcoin famous people and so on. I own Bitcoin because I like Bitcoin. That's it. And you know, that's what Elon Musk has said is true. That like mining is not good for the environment and so on. But after that, you know, we always need to put things in perspective. Either way, it's a process. It's an evolution. It's the same exact thing on, like, you know, electric cars. If we really want to take like that argument per se, you know, the production of the electricity that comes like from the car, when you're like plugging that in the charging station, that electricity, where is it coming from?
Yeah.
From burning petrol.
Yeah.
From burning oil. Now, a lot of people that support the argument that electric cars are the future obviously says what? Yeah, but with R&D, with development, the production of electricity is going to go on renewable energy. And that's fair. I don't see any problem with that. Why, if it works with something like that, it shouldn't work for mining Bitcoin? You know, there are companies, and I can tell like one example on this. There is one company that is thinking about doing things. I can't really be too public about these things, but there is one company that is mining Bitcoin in a country. It's not China, by the way, but we're still like in the Middle East Asian region, basically. And they bought an entire hydro plantation to basically like ensure that they can use hydro energy to mine Bitcoin. And it's an investment that they've done. They put down hundreds of millions of dollars in order to do that, just and exclusively to ensure that they can do that thing. Now, why did they do that? In reality, you know, we can use the storyline that is renewable energy and so on. Truth is that is in the long run, it's going to be cheaper to actually like mine Bitcoin with that type of energy than by burning fuel. It's as simple as that. It's an investment approach. I don't see that being a storyline that matters.
It's manipulation. I mean, look at the logic, right? Like, okay, China, the mining is centralized. Well, where is it all centralized? In one region where all of the electricity is generated by hydroelectrics, right? And the reason there was that dip in the hash power a month ago, was because that region, the hydroelectric dam flooded or something. So all the power went down. So you can call on the fact that it's all centralized in China, running on renewable green energy from a hydroelectric, but you miss connecting them. I don't know. There's just something really fishy going on. It doesn't make any sense. The steps in the logic are only like being picked and choose to push the narrative. They're like ignoring the narrative that's connected to it right beside it.
I guess that the problem that I'm having with the story is the classic that like expectation set you up for disappointments. And so with the simple fact that I consider an individual like Elon Musk intelligent, I'm having problems on putting this story anywhere apart from being a massive troll. Now, let me explain what I mean with this. Well, but that's the thing. Let me explain on that point for a second. So, assuming that he's doing manipulation, then if he's doing manipulation, I'm like, why someone that is like almost the richest man on earth, that for a period he was the richest man on earth, needs to actually do these massive manipulation things, turn into like the villain, basically, screw over tons of people that basically are a fan of him, just for what? More money, more return? More profits.
Well, the word is that he's trying to stick it to the SEC.
Well, but that's the point. What do you think is going to happen at that point? You think that if you really stick it to the SEC and he wants to prove that he's superior, the SEC is not going to go after him at that point?
What's the end game exactly, right? Like
the problem.
I suspect the end game here is I would not be surprised in the very near future if we see some sort of announcement around an efficient way to
maintain
the Bitcoin network, mine it.
But that's too obvious. No, that's a storyline that is like, duh. Like if it happens that, I'm like,
Elon coin, Elon green coin.
I don't know. It's such like a cheap, low-profile move and that's exactly what I mean. It would be a disappointment for that, because if it really turns out to be that the end game, I would be disappointed, because I would really expect like from people of that caliber, people that are like defining the society where we're living in. You know, we can like someone or dislike, but we cannot deny the innovation that is brought from those individuals.
Exactly.
Starlink, Tesla in general, like it's kind of like pushing the narrative of like electric car from like other manufacturing companies as well. Like there is innovation that is brought in place. If the end game is really becoming like a greener currency, I'm like, really? Like really? Is this like?
No, but it's like it's one of the. Okay, I was talking to my friend about this. The one that told me that the connection is like World War III is happening right now, and it's for the control of money. Right? If you have control of the money, you can control the narratives about the environment. You can control the narratives about the politics. You can control everything if you have the control of money. So to me, that's what seems is happening, is that like there's a huge fight to have this new cryptocurrency, and the people want Bitcoin because they have the power. And anybody above like your standard pleb, they don't want to give up the power of money to everybody. They want to keep it. So there's all these kind of subversive things happening, you know, like Tetherfud trying to take down Bitcoin, Elon manipulating the markets. It's like there's so much happening behind.
Yeah, well, we had the triple play. We had the Tether FUD, the Binance FUD, and Elon's. All of them.
Perfectly timed.
Well, what I found interesting as well is his tweets were basically hitting key market levels as well, the exact moment that they came out. And on that note, one thing I'm looking out for, people, is we've got options expiring on Bitcoin, and I've been talking about this for the last 2 months, that the Bitcoin price has been exactly the max pain point for these options traders. We've got one expiring tomorrow at 45K. Which would cause a max pain for both longs and shorts. So it'll be fascinating for me it'll actually be today when you're watching this video. If Bitcoin closes at 45, then yeah, I think the options market has a huge influence on Bitcoin's movement, and therefore the rest of the market. It's the end of month closes at 54K. So let's keep an eye on those levels. That'll be interesting. I think Musk's influence on this market, while clearly he has some influence, Surely that's going to dissipate now. I think his comments around Doge 100 times faster, blah blah blah. I mean, that's shit we were seeing back in 2017 with the Bitcoin hard forks. Everything he said there was not factual. He's wrong on that front. Doge is also a proof of work blockchain.
I love the comments after that specific one, with like tons of people in the space for a long time that were like, right, because we never tried that already, isn't it?
Yeah,
that was nice.
So anyway, BTC for me, people, look, as Jordan's just said there, people, controlling the money supply gives you control of everything. So, there's always going to be headwinds as this industry grows, because this is the first time in human history we've got a monetary system that is separate from the state. That's what decentralization brings us. We've got massive money printing. Look, the use case for these billionaires to go into this anti-inflationary asset's huge. Looking at this list of billionaires, a number of them are in Bitcoin. I think the number 2 guy here is the guy out of Mexico who's got 10% of his stack in Bitcoin. So it's not just Elon. I don't think we should get too carried away with this guy has got this market at his whim. I don't think that is the case, but yes, he is having an influence. So let's move on here to my number 2 top 5 coin. It's a real exciting one for everyone out there.
Oh, sorry. So you don't want to know what we think about your first pick?
Bitcoin.
Yeah, I thought that you were
actually,
going to ask us.
Stefano, to keep you happy, I'm going to move Ethereum to my first pick.
Good.
Bitcoin is my second pick.
Good.
Ethereum is my number 1 pick for right now in the cycle. I'm now I was a Bitcoin maximalist for 4 years. We started doing the show together. I've learned so much about the Ethereum ecosystem from you guys. Look, to me, this is the better bet at the moment if you're looking for returns. I just think it's like, do you want to invest in gold, or do you want to invest in effectively, a new internet? I think Ethereum is bringing so much to the table here. I'm totally convinced. I hold it without a stop loss. I trade about 10% of the stack on BYBIT. I got a nice entry at 31.5 yesterday there. If you are a trader, please use our link below, experienced trader that is. So yeah, I mean, ETH for me is a no-brainer at the moment. Bitcoin doesn't have a competitor for what it does, digital gold, but ETH is just, man, I mean, look at what we do on the show week in, week out. There's so much action there. There's so many things happening. Bitcoin, box ticked. It's done its thing. It's not going anywhere. It'll get bigger. So it's my number 2 coin. Ethereum's number 1. Does that make you feel better, Stefano?
Well, don't take me wrong. Like I'm actually like totally fine with Bitcoin. I think that like now more than ever, now that like values are going down, the people are like going back on the bear story. Like it's becoming like a little bit of a mess as the old days on a bull run, basically. I think that Bitcoin is in a beautiful position right now. Yeah. I overall believes that, yes, I mean, like everybody knows that I prefer Ethereum because you can do more things with that. I do think that like Ethereum is set, and I say that long ago. I think that like the 2021 of Ethereum, it's going to be one of the best alphas that you can see because of like 1559, because of the merge. We're into like potentially seeing like a 100x scalability improvements by the end of the year for Ethereum. Mix that with the burning mechanics of 1559, like I'm sold. Like I love it. Like I don't need anything else as an argument for that. But Bitcoin is still Bitcoin. You want to call it like the king or the queen of the currencies or the cryptos and so on. Like I think that overall it's good. Like I'm bullish on both, to be honest. I don't see that being negative.
Okay, so yeah, macro case for both of those, absolutely huge, people. So for everyone asking me, what should you invest in at the moment? There's 2 of the 5 so far. So moving on to number 3, obviously just completely tied to Ethereum in so many ways. One that we have put on your radar for quite a while now. There's a whole heap of guides about it, how to use it, etc., etc. And that's the Matic token from Polygon. Look, it's been my best performer this year. You know, as I say, we've made a ton of these videos, how to use it, what it is. Stefano, you're the expert on this protocol. You brought it to everyone's attention. Do you agree with me that it should be in my top 5?
At the moment, I would stop with that. At the moment.
At the moment. Okay. Well, the show is all about the moment, people.
See, now
your top 5, Mr. Gonzo?
Well, if Bitcoin is the king and Ether is the queen, then you got to have Doge because it's the court jester. If we're doing ancient royalty analogies, right?
Okay.
The court jester has its use, right? Has its value.
True.
Everybody needs to laugh, especially when you're losing money hand over fist, right?
Well, look, I think, you know, the reason for this show, and a lot of the people I know watching this have Doge, and you know, I've been slagging it off. I've been trolling a few Doge people, and you know, the more I've thought about it, it's possibly not cool. You know, whatever brings people into the crypto space initially is great with me, and then once they're here, maybe coming across shows like this where they're getting a few different opinions on the good, the bad, and the ugly around it.
Yeah.
I mean, not that I'm here to change your mind. I would definitely not put it in my top 5. Look, it may well pump. You know, you got Elon getting triggered by Peter McCormick and turning around going, it's people like you slagging me off. I'll go all in on Doge. I mean, you know.
Well, you know,
very petty and childish, both of those guys, really.
You know, most people can't learn a lesson just through listening. You have to learn lessons through experience. So yeah, forget it. Get everybody in here. Get them all buying Doge. They can learn their first lesson fast and hard.
Right? And then leave forever.
Right into the fire. Yeah, exactly. Well, that's what happened last time in 2018. It's the same thing. Sean, I put a link in there. I don't know if you've read this document called Wulong, The Art of a Pump and Dump.
I saw that, but like I didn't start reading that.
Yeah, you should read it because it basically describes the Doge pump and dump that happened the first time, and it's play by play exactly the same thing that's happening again, except for this time it's not only on Doge, it's on Bitcoin as well, because the guy doing the pump and dump has more capital and he can move the markets more, right? And but it's like all the stages, you know, set it up, test pump, get everybody hyped, you know, massive frenzy, hit all the medias, get everybody talking about it, and that's when you start selling into it, right? And then you get a bit of FUD at the end, and then you rebuy at the bottom, and then you start to cycle.
Yeah, look, Gonzo, I've always had an issue with, you know, even with a Bitcoin, there a lot of the holdings are not centralized, but they're in quite a small amount of hands. But Doge is the clear winner on that one. I mean, one person's got 30% of the whole supply, 3 people own over 90% of it. That's just a dangerous place for you to be as a holder of that token. You're really at their whim. So just be careful on that one. But coming back to my top 5 people, so did you agree with Matic, Mr. Gonzo? Do you think that's I mean, obviously it's seen a massive pump, but to me, possibly still got more to come. I've not sold any.
I mean, you know, like right now you're just calling top 5 in a race that's halfway through. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I mean, because right now, sure, exactly. There, you know, it's a 100-meter sprint. We're at 50 meters, and Matic is in the lead. Right? So how do you not?
Yeah, what's the biggest mover of the week? That's for sure.
Total volume locked. Everybody's talking about it. It's pumping. It's doing well. You know, it's scaling. It's doing what it's supposed to. Now it's just see if the, you know, the hype matches the adoption.
Okay, so moving on quickly, people, to number 4. It's one that I won't go into too much detail because I've done that for the last few weeks on this show and other shows. We also looked at the technicals of it last week. That's Kusama, pretty much the same as the blockchain. Very much a test net at the moment. We've got all these parachain auctions coming up, so projects are about to come on to Kusama. They need to purchase these chains. They're going to lock up the token. Look, for me, I want to have some exposure to the substrate sector of this market. So yeah, for me, I could say DOT here as well, but I'm going with Kusama. Look, I like it as a, spreading my bets on the ecosystem. So that makes my top 5. Any thoughts on that, boys?
Kusama is like what?
Wait, you say 4? You say 4?
It's the 4th coin in my top 5.
Ah, okay. So it's not the 5th one. There is another one after.
One more to come. One more to come.
Sorry, I was confused.
Kusama is the Litecoin, is what Litecoin says it is to Bitcoin, but it's not actually, right? Like Bitcoin is, or Litecoin is supposed to be the testnet for Bitcoin, and all the development happens there and everything, before it happens. But that's actually what's happening on Kusama.
Yeah.
But that doesn't happen on Litecoin. So fair enough.
Yeah.
But I mean,
so it's been a big mover already, but I think it's possibly got more to come. I think some of these top sort of alts we're seeing a lot of capital go into them at the moment. So
Sean's going to say ADA next.
Say what?
You're going to say ADA next?
No, I've never.
Because I know the smart contracts are coming on summer, so
I've never owned
that's a good play.
No, it's not. My 5th and final coin, people, is the AXS token from Axie Infinity.
Oh, look at this guy.
The reason for this is if you do watch this channel, you can see what we've been up to here. We've made probably more videos on this project than anything else. I'm a total believer in the play to earn space. I'm seeing firsthand what we're doing. We're managing to get a yield from our activities in the space, and at the same time providing an income to a lot of other people as well. The numbers are growing in the space. So the AXS is the governance token of Axie Infinity. There's obviously the smooth love potion token as well, which is the token that you earn, you breed with, etc. So guys, would you agree with me putting AXS in my top 5 at this point?
Stefano might go counter, but I agree. He's just because he likes to be counter.
Yeah, no, that's true. But you know my position.
Look at what we did last night, right?
That's true.
That breeding account that I showed you, okay, that's pretty crazy, right? So my Venezuelan scholar, Fernando, he's been one of my best scholars. He's made the most SLP. We've bred some dusks before, and he's like, boss, can we breed some more? I'm like, okay, man, what do you think? And he's like, well, let's do the beast. I'm like, okay, we're going to do this right. So, there's some really specific cards that we had, and we found another one, and we bred probably about like $7,000-8,000 worth of Axies.
But see, that's exactly my point. I wanna exactly going into that. Because to the AXS argument or contra argument on that, if we're talking about the Axie ecosystem, there is only an idiot can say that that's not a massive bull environment and ecosystem. The number speaks, and they crash any other metric, hands down on that. They reach 50,000 active daily users now. Like, it's insane. The growth that they're having is like.
Yep,
so the ecosystem
daily volume in the marketplace, right?
The ecosystem is like, it's perfect. We are involved, like we all know, like, and nobody can deny that hard forking is not involved in that ecosystem. But here's my problem that I have with the super bullish argument on AXS. You have breed 6-7 Axie for like a $5,000-$7,000 worth of value. Okay, in all of that, your real consumption on the AXS part goes down to $30, $40. Like, you have contributed $6,000 or $7,000 on the Axie ecosystem, but $60 on the AXS part ecosystem directly. So I still believe that, and I know that tons of people are super against me on this, and I completely understand, because you're bullish on the ecosystem, then automatically you should be bullish on everything by default. I still think that on AXS there is tons of work on that tokenomics and the mechanics that still need to be done, or that still need to be proved. At least for me, that is a good holding thing. I do see obviously the utility, because you need that to breed. We literally discussed for 2 hours yesterday on Twitch the fact that, like, as of today, you're better off playing the game, farming SLP, using those SLP to breed new Axie, selling the Axie on the marketplace, and you're making a better return out of that. The system works. People are making money. It's undeniable how absolutely amazing Axie is. But the AXS is a piece of that. And everybody's like, oh, but you're automatically investing in the ecosystem, because if Axie succeed, AXS automatically succeed as well. Yeah, but you might have getting a better return if you're actually like placing your cards on another part of the ecosystem right now. So I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm still like holding on. I know that it's crazy. I know that like it's a really like completely different arguments on a tons of other people, but I'm not 100% blind soul on the AXS token right now.
Okay. Very good. Good to have
proof-
differences of opinions. Mr. Gonzo, comments on that?
Yeah, the proof will be in the pudding when they airdrop the AXS and then they enable the staking and the rolling
The
debt.
5%. Yeah.
Yeah,
When
that
all
debt-
that things happen, and we're gonna start seeing like what's the real return that you get in every single year. Because let's remember that the real point of holding the AXS is gonna be that 5% that you're receiving from the fees that are generating from the marketplace. Now,
and the marketplace is humming, so
it's true. The marketplace is growing like crazy and so on. It's very true. Are we looking at, for example, getting a 10% APY in return on that? Well, if we're on those values, then we start matching and competing against like DeFi. So I'm like, yeah, that makes absolutely sense. But if that APY start being like 1 or 2% a year, then I can love something as much as I want, but I'd rather put my coins to something else, my funds to something else, because the return is better, which means that the price will be overpriced at that point. Vice versa, if the marketplace keeps booming like this, keeps growing, the growth moves from like 50,000 users to like 500,000 active users, and I do believe that actually can achieve that, then maybe for a period, your APY on AXS from the staking could actually be like 500%. And so if that is the case, then AXS right now is undervalued. And so your game, your play, Sean, makes total sense because you're going to be in for like a crazy return. It's all that. What is the future going to be?
But Sean is, he's bet on the future, but he's also bet on the now because, he just bought a stack of AXS and then, Sunday we use them to breed Axies, and the Axies that we bred are guaranteed going to make back like at least 15 or 20x on the AXS return. Like that's
but see, he's not staking the AXS. He's not keeping the AXS. He's using them.
Yeah, but it's still a return on the investment, right?
Well, I know. It's not.
You turn the AXS into an Axie, right? Which is part of the ecosystem.
But it's a very different thing to like say someone like I'm betting on AXS or I'm betting on the Axie ecosystem because I'm going to use the ecosystem to generate more money.
I fully appreciate what you're saying there, Stefano, and maybe a better way to phrase that would be that I'm betting on the Axie ecosystem. I get it. Obviously I'm only using one AXS for this breeding. I see the returns that I'm getting from breeding the Axie, selling them as well. So possibly I didn't phrase that well, but for anyone that's not familiar with what we're talking about here, and many of you won't be, go and check out what is going on with Axie Infinity. Join our Discord. We're really growing our capabilities in the play to win space with some exciting stuff coming up. We've been working on these Axie scholarships for quite a while now, and there's more to come in the play to earn space, people. Just a couple of notable mentions that nearly made the top 5. Solana. So I don't know why you're saying ADA. I've never talked about ADA before. So for me, Solana is another one I'm holding. Uniswap. I've taken another position in quick swap. And believe it or not, and this will, for some of you, I'll lose all my credibility. Others will be silently applauding. But we looked at all these different projects that give a yield the other day, and funnily enough, the one that we've actually had as a project review, and we're up over some 12, 13, 14, 15x, is Hex.
Hex.
So I'm kind of happy with how that's going. I mean, Richard Hart, polarizing figure, but look, he's out there. He's building a community. He sticks his face out there. He's constantly engaging with people. I like that. I don't see it from a lot of other projects. So yeah, notable Mitch.
Wow, interesting. Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, he's built, he's adding, it's done what it's supposed to. It's not a scam so far. I don't know about top 6, but
so far. Tomorrow.
Number 7.
That's my. That's my. So stop sending me messages, please. I'm going to send you this video if you do. Here's my coin a little bit at the moment, and why. Now, guys, we were talking about Axie Infinity there. We also want to start putting a little segment in these shows of jobs that we have. 3 of us are full-time in crypto. We're doing our best to grow many aspects of the blockchain space, and we are doing that, and we actually need some people to come and help us. So I will attach a job spec below, but in short, we need a social media manager, somebody with very solid experience running social media on a large scale. TikTok is included in that. We need a TikToker.
Millions and millions and millions. No, I mean like that you're kind of like looking from someone that is coming out from like the social media department of companies like Burger King and so on. Let's kind of like lower the expectation a little bit, shall we? Like okay. No, we're looking for someone that has been in crypto or understand this market, but most important, we're looking for someone that is spending time digging into the market. And so, you know, you don't have to be like someone that has like 15 years of work experience or anything like that, but you need to be someone that like spend time online and research what is happening in the industry. And let's take Axie as an example, because obviously like there is a lot of material that is being produced and every single day around like Axie. We're looking for someone that can be on top of like the Twitter accounts that are like talking about Axie, that that person needs to like research, for example, what other scholarship programs are doing, possible tournaments that are coming out. So things that like can help the followers and as well us also to know what's going on, so that like we're not missing opportunities, and therefore that we can prepare to ensure that those things can happen inside the Earth working community as well. So you need to be passionate about this space. I'm not gonna lie on that. If you don't like these things, if you're already on your daily, you're not spending hours every single day researching like play to earn games or new projects that are coming out, a new IDO, new content creators. Like if you're not doing this on your free time, this is not the job for you, because you need to have that passion.
The perfect person will have some passion around blockchain gaming as well. So that would be our perfect person. Not that you have to have that for this particular role. Now, guys, what are the other, just very quickly, what are the other positions that we're looking for here, Mr. Gonzo? What do you need? Now, so just to clarify, this is obviously a paid role and paid in crypto only.
Yeah, no, I mean, the social media thing is the big thing, I think, right? And then we've had the community step up during for Axie Infinity, which is kind of cool because they started this tournament, you know, 2 weeks ago or a week ago. We mentioned that, hey, you know, we need some help organizing and stuff, and a couple of the guys, Kingsback and Errol, who else? Timothy, I think, is helping. Everybody stepped up, and they've got this little mini tournament that we're practicing with our inside our community. So that's cool. Stefano's going to stream that tomorrow, right, on his Twitch, the finals and the winners.
Link below for Stefanos Twitch as well, if you want to tune in for that, people.
And the winners get to run our premium accounts with all the super pimpin' Axies. So that was last week's job board kind of thing. And then this week, the social media manager, someone, like I said, we need a TikToker, a Twitter person that can go full time and just engage and share stuff and comment and tweet and relike and, you know, help find some new threads that we can, you know, get into. And then, yeah.
So get in touch, people. I'll put a link below to our Discord for you to register your interest. Okay, guys. So I've given you my top 5 coins.
Sorry,
very
thing.
Very brief.
Stop. Shut up. Pause. The final thing that also, and that's probably going to be like more internal on the community, but when we're still like defining the specifics on that, but we will need someone that will help out for keeping track of all like the scholarships, the performance, the scholars, and kind of like all of those things. Right now, me and Jordan are doing this manually. So once a week, we sit down and we check like every single account and so on. As we are growing a lot in terms of like students and so on, I think that we well past 100 scholars right now, given by the R-forking model ecosystem, and we're probably going to go like in 200 fairly quickly, to be honest. So there will be a need for someone to kind of help managing, not managing is not the right word, keeping track of all of these informations, what it's happening, the students that are like doing a very, very good job, so that we can get like more one-to-one basis with those people, ensuring that like they can have better teams and so on, figuring out more of the breeding models and etc., as well as figuring out who is not performing so well, in order to like ensure that maybe we might have to replace those students with someone else that needs an income in a better way from there. So we don't really have like super specific aspects right now, but if you are someone that would like to be more of like a helper on taking care of the data on the scholarships and so on, like a nice template type of thing and so on, get in touch with that as well.
What's any specific software that they're going to need to know here?
Excel,
Excel or Google Sheet, I guess.
Yep.
Maybe a bit of.
And like, we need you to be very organized and very proficient on that, people. So please
maybe
don't apply for that unless you are.
A bit of programming, like coding, right? Because if there's got to be some way that we can automate this. Like it's very time consuming. You know, like,
that's true.
It's only going to grow as well. We've got some really exciting initiatives in addition to
ideally, yes, it should be someone that understand Google Sheet in a good way, that can like, you know, plug the APIs, for example, and keeping track automatically of the SOP that has been generated, so that that person can do the job once, and then after that, that person can just like focus on you know, tweaking the data, instead of just like having to copy and paste manually every single time. As long as you have 100, you know, it's one thing. If we go 1,000, which potentially could happen by the end of the year, you know,
I'm sure there's look, we anticipate growing pretty rapidly here with a few things that you're going to learn about from us over the next week. So we have got those 2 roles. I'm sure there's going to be others. They are paid in crypto. So get in touch if you want to come and join us as a hard forker. We're waiting to hear from you. Okay, guys, we're coming up on an hour here. Anything else you want to share with the audience before we wrap up today?
No, enjoy the rad. Don't worry about that. Here's the thing: the market is doing exactly what it's always been doing. Like, forget the prices for a second and just keep using things. People are still playing Axie yesterday, today, and they will do tomorrow. People are still buying NBA Top Shot like they've done yesterday. They're going to do that tomorrow. You can still play other games on the Wax blockchain. Don't worry about prices. Like, still keep using the ecosystem. You're still totally fine.
Yeah. I mean, on that note, money is still going to be printed. People are going to be looking for a store of value and a scarce asset. Bitcoin's going nowhere. The macros have got even stronger, and I say the same for Ethereum. You know, I'm really in there now, digging around and realizing, geez, I can actually survive just in crypto. I don't need to go to a bank for anything at this point. I mean, I've got a crypto credit card. You know, this is here. DeFi is the other one. It's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. Therefore, Ethereum, my #1 coin. So, in a nutshell, I hope you've taken something away from today. That stop sending me messages asking what coins to buy. Watch the videos instead, please. Mr. Gonzo, parting comments from you?
Just a quick shout out, because we've had a bit of a milestone here in the scholarship program. Quite proud to say we've had our first 2 graduates. So the first 2 scholars that I got, we have Laura and her boyfriend Jesus. They're both from Venezuela. They're university students, and they have generated enough SLP and enough Axies with the play to breed. They're like the pioneers. They were the first people that I started doing the play to breed with. So we kind of worked out the system together before Ronin came around. And so when Ronin came around, it just, you could hit it hard. So Laura has her own team of her own Axies now. She got one from breeding, and then she used the profits from her SLP to buy a couple others. So she's, I guess it's grandfathered her account onto her cousin. So now her cousin has started playing her account. That's all leveled up nicely. So he's got a nice easy ride of it. And Jesus is doing the same thing. I just bred 6 dusks for him. So those just hatched like half an hour ago. And then so he's going to take his Axies, and then he's got enough for his team, and he's also doing the same thing. He's handing his team off to a friend or a family member. So this is exactly the process that we want to see. You know, when these guys have been around since Christmas, December last year. So December, January, February, March, April, May. So 5 months, 6 months almost exactly. It's taken them to go from nothing to having their own Axie team and a bunch of profits and being able to run their own team now. So I think that timeline is a bit slow. It goes much faster now, but that's the nutshell of what we're trying to do here.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said. Look, people, you know, okay, top 5 coins, a bit of a cheesy, gives me a cheesy SOE title for the thumbnail, but you know, that's why I picked Axie. I probably should have said the Axie ecosystem. You know, for me, Ethereum, DeFi, bigger, Bitcoin, store of value, getting bigger, Axie Infinity, and the entire play to earn space in blockchain gaming is just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and we've got a hell of a lot coming up for you on that front, people. So join our Discord, follow the channel, our different Twitter accounts are below as well. Please follow all 3 of those, and thank you very much, boys. We get back to some breeding, I guess.
Pretty much, yeah.
On that note, thanks for watching, everyone. Good luck out there.